Okay, so these boots are becoming unstuck. The glue is failing on them, so I need to remove the sole. I usually wouldn't pull out the old glued sole, but this one is really dirty, so it needs to be all cleaned before new glue is applied. Wow. This is unusual. I'm going to have to take a knife and peel that apart. I don't usually pull stuff that was well stuck with the knife, but since it's got to be clean, this is different. So a lot of dirt is accumulated on it, so even if I put glue on that, it wouldn't even stay. So I need to take off all the dirt, clean it, and then apply some glue on this and re-glue. Usually it would just be considered a normal glue job, but because of all the dirt, it is far from being normal. Alright, so this is better here. You can see some of the rubber. Takes the old glue off too. Might be able to apply some glue if I dilute it with thinner. It might seep into the Now this is a wire brush usually used for cleaning welds, for welding. I guess there's no tools for the shoe repair. Use the welding equipment. Alright, so this is much better just with the wire brush. I don't think I will need to wet it, and I don't want to wet it if I don't need to. Okay, so I have some fresh barge glue here, which I'm going to apply liberally just to soak all the little nooks. Now the barge is fresh. Usually if it stays in the glue pot it gets a little more thick, so I need fresh to be able to wet everything with the glue. Make sure I get to every crevice. Of course it's a little more runny, but then again the boots were ruined, so now, of course, with using barge cement, you need to read the instructions, make sure you get proper ventilation, make sure you don't sniff it directly because it's going to give you a nice headache. I would know. Alright, because the sole hasn't been completely removed, I need to insert some spacers just to let the glue set. So for this I will use a few nails just to make sure the surface of the glue, the surface of the boot or the sole doesn't touch the other surface, so we will get adherence. So this one we'll let dry until tacky. We don't know just how long it'll take. It depends on how much glue and how thick it is. Okay, the other one is not as bad. The front is very much, well, not very affected. The side is. I need the wire brush to take off most of the dirt. I don't want to brush my finger because that would be somewhat painful. I don't want to think about it. I can see some residue of oil here. Probably the guy had a chainsaw. So either now would be time to clean it with solvents, or just use solvent to make sure that when I apply the glue it's going to be nice and penetrating. I'm not even sure if that's going to stick. So we use some solvent. Solvent I'm using is lacquer thinner with a bit of glue. Just to make sure that everything gets right into to its substrate. There's some dirt again. The wire brush didn't clean it at all. And it's pretty bad because I can't clean it at all, and the glue doesn't stick on dirt. More dirts. So again, this is just like very light glue with lacquer thinner. Might actually melt the substrate. Okay, so now I use the new glue on top of that. Nice and squishy. Make sure like the glue is well in there, because if it is not, it just won't stick. My brush here is a horsehair brush, which is available for cosmetics. Nice and doesn't melt with the solvent, so that's good. Alright, a little bit more glue. When I took this job, I saw the dirt and I said, oh man, there's gonna be some odd job. So, it's not for everybody, that's for sure. I was wondering if I needed to take it or not. Okay, so same thing here. I'm gonna put spacers just so the glue has time to dry before I stick it together. I will let this dry for about 15 minutes. So just make sure that it doesn't close, because if it does, it just won't stick very well. Okay, got a bit of the front issue and the side issue. It appears to be the same thing, and the side it appears to be oil related from chainsaw use or something like that. Two-stroke oil. Just dark. There doesn't seem to be as much dirt in here, so I'll be able to just apply solvents. Just a bit of the brushing, apply solvent. Still a bit of dirt. Because it smells like two-stroke oil, so probably a chainsaw or Alright, here we go. So this is mostly solvent, a bit of glue. As you can see, it runs pretty good. I just want to make sure I wet everything. And this is fresh glue. To make sure it gets into every little crack. And, oh yeah, my fingers getting numb. Because if it doesn't seem like a lot of work, well, maybe it's not, but sure gets some of the muscles moving. Okay, again, some spacers just to make sure it doesn't stick together. And we'll let it dry for about 15 minutes before checking out if it's tacky or not. There we go. Now the front, I'm gonna take care of the front later after I get all that acupuncture out. Other boot, the glue is nice and tacky. Still a little thick here, the stringy here. I don't want that. I don't want the stringy part. Alright, so the glue is tacky now, but it's not stringy. So that's what I want for consistency for the glue. Now, it's important to have the two glues meet together. And traditionally, the old-fashioned way, it was by pounding. So we'll do it by pounding. I don't have a press, so that's how I do it here. Just make sure everything is nice and it's at the right place, and then just and that's how they used to do it in the good old days. And that's still how I do some of the work. A little bit of something here. I don't know exactly why it doesn't stick. And I check the whole edge usually. And just crimp with the pliers here. That's not bad. Have a little bit of difficulty in the front. We'll revisit that. Of course, I didn't do here. I guess I did. Not up to here though. So I'm going to have to put a little glue here and glue that. The rest is okay. Okay, how about the other boot? Well, the other boot is a little harder to dry because it was, and it's not dry yet. It's a little more gooey. I don't know what this compound is. I'm not sure if it's glue. A little more gooey. We'll let it sit for a while more. Okay, so this has dried about half an hour longer than the other one, simply because it was more difficult to dry because of the confined seam in the pleat of the sole. So here we go. Remove the pins and just hammer down. And then take the pliers and just squish the edges together, just to make sure everything's nice and stuck together. Now, of course, I said earlier that the tip would have to be revisited, and that's where I am now. So I have to redo the tip because I haven't done the tip, first of all. So nice and stuck. Now, for contact glue, it's important to squish the two sides together so the contact acts well together. That's what contact glue does. It just, Barge is a type of contact glue, so it needs to be squished on the other side. And it needs to be hammered because whatever solvent is left on the glue after it dries just reactivates the bond. Looks like it's counterintuitive. There we go. And I need to brush the dirt off again. Usually a glue job would not be as rough as this. This is rough because of the dirt. Of course, I did charge accordingly because I knew it was going to be not the typical glue job. Alright, so same thing as earlier with the dirt. Apply a bit of glue with solvent, very thin glue. Make sure it wets everything. Alright, so the tip has lots of glue, still a bit sticky, so because we can't like let too much air in. So I'll accelerate things a bit by using the heat gun at low temperature. Just to make sure the Whoops, sorry, the camera capped out, so I wasn't filming the end. I thought I was, but I wasn't. So the front of the boot was hammered after the glue dried, and the client came pick up his boot and he was really happy. The end.